tonight. Hey, I'm a movie star.
Welcome everyone back to the Purple Rinse. It's been a little while, but we've not forgotten about you. Today we've got something kind of different from the Purple Rinse. We're going to be talking about the movie Michael.
The songs are ready. Let's take it from the top. This is your story. Honor your past.
Yeah, so Dark Pop, we saw Michael only last night, I think it was. You saw it a couple of nights before, right?
Yeah, I saw it at the IMAX. Had to be done. It's Michael Jackson, of course.
Of course.
Could not
of
let
course.
that go without seeing it in the IMAX. And then I saw it again with you a couple of nights after. How'd you get into Michael? What's your history, man?
Man, well, obviously this is the Purple Rinse where we talk about Prince, but the truth is, I think most people who came up on Prince, who liked Prince, especially in the 80s, were originally Jackson fans. I know as a kid, I was a big Jackson fan. That's all I listened to, the Jacksons, Jackson 5. It was all about the Jacksons. And then Prince came about a little bit later when I got a little bit older. And I was kind of, as I matured as an individual and my music taste matured, I gravitated to something a bit more, a bit more raw, a bit more sexy, and Prince spoke to me. And then I fell down that rabbit hole. But Jackson, for me, is an incredible artist. I hold him up the same way I hold up the same way I hold up Prince. And this movie for me was just pure nostalgia, man. What about you, Dark Pop?
Yeah, grew up on the Jackson 5 and the Jacksons, and wanted to be a Jackson.
Yeah,
But for me, the Jacksons themselves, not the Jackson 5, but the Jacksons were my superheroes. From Destiny, Triumph, Victory. But yeah, those three albums, I saw those guys, and it wasn't just Michael. For me, it was all of them. They were
yeah,
like superheroes with all their special superpowers.
yeah,
And yeah, and I couldn't get enough. Excuse the pun.
yeah, yeah. Well, funny because I mean, this movie, I think, we've discussed this movie a little bit, and we concluded that this is actually a superhero origin movie, really, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. I think it's uh, without a shadow of a doubt. For me, in the 80s, Prince, Michael, and Madonna are the JLA of the industry, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like, MJ would be Superman, Prince would be Batman, the darkness, and Madonna, obviously, Wonder Woman.
yeah,
So, yeah, I think it's a superhero origins movie.
definitely,
And
definitely.
if you come from that point of view, you know. But anyway, let's talk about the movie. Let's
Talk
go
about the
in.
movie. So this
Yeah,
is
let's
going to
talk
be
about the movie.
it's going to be a spoiler review. So we're going to be talking about things in the movie. If you've not seen this film, pause right now. Go and watch it. If you're a Jackson fan, you have to watch this. This film was made for fans. This film was not made for people who wanted to know the dirty kind of secrets and all the grit and all the nasty. This is a movie to celebrate the man's uh, talent, and his rise from humble Indiana to the world stage. That's what it's about. It's not about the grit. That's not what this story is about at all. And it works really well. So yeah, again, this is going to be a spoiler review. So, Dark Pop, I'm going to hand it to you, man. I know that, you spoke many, many times about the Jacksons, and I know that they've always been your guys, just like mine too. But tell me, man, your general feel, your general, thoughts on Michael, the movie.
Well, in representation of the man, I got the glove on, right? So
He's got his glove. This guy's ready.
I'm
Uh,
ready.
yeah.
Okay, so let's do the pros. Jafar Jackson destroys this film. And the sorry, I don't know the name of the little kid. He was amazing as well. He had an old soul. They found some kid with an old soul like Michael,
That's his
old
name
soul.
is Giuliano Valdi, young Michael. I've never heard of him.
Yeah, yeah. But Jafar, because that's my period. I like that period of Michael when he was coming out of, little kid to teenager. And so that's the moment Jafar plays. And I'm telling you, there are moments I'm thinking, what trickery is this? What trickery are they using? Because I was like, there were times I was thinking I was there with Michael watching his journey. I was like, it was insane. The dance moves, just amazing. Now I know there are details, attention to details that were missed in the film, but I won't talk about that yet. I'll just talk about how I felt about the movie. There was a scene with Lorenz Tate who somehow doesn't seem to age at all.
Hmm.
Right? I don't know how old Lorenz Tate is, but that guy looks amazing, and I loved him in it. And there was a moment where he was just looking at Michael, and this is what you call acting because he wasn't saying anything, but I was looking at his face and how he was looking at this lightning in a bottle and realizing I can't believe what I'm seeing. But it was all expressed in his face, and I got emotional there. It was weird. It was like, man, I felt like I was there at the time and witnessing something really special, especially from someone that's seen the greats as well vocally, and him realizing this kid is beyond anything I've heard, and that was expressed in that moment, and it choked me up. I was like, what's going on here? A tear actually ran down my eye. I was like, I felt that emotion, and being proud of Michael as well, doing what was natural to him. This little kid with an amazing voice, with the soul of an elder, right? Yeah, and that choked me up. And as the film progressed, I realized that it was not going to be the film I would like to have seen, or I would like to have been made. And so I kind of calmed down because I saw a couple of things that didn't make sense to me or I didn't like. The Jacksons in particular were a little bit sort of shoehorned in, and no one had any particular character. It was just the brothers there to kind of add to the numbers, and I hated that
Yeah.
because, as I said, I'm a fan of those guys, and some of the guys didn't look like. I know it's hard sometimes to get both, but they could have done better. It was like an afterthought, and I'm surprised by that because
Yeah.
Jermaine and I think Marlon are involved in it, and it's almost like they've done themselves a disservice. Like how
The casting for the brothers was mainly terrible. The casting was
terrible and
terrible.
terrible. So I know I'm mixing up the pros with the
Mm,
cons, right? But I can't let this go.
mm,
I to me the one thing that hurt really badly was it was the omission more than the Janet thing was Randy.
mm,
How could you do the Jacksons later on Jacksons without Randy, who was the musical genius in the band and had an edge that the other brothers did not have?
mm,
Randy to me was my favorite Jackson.
mm.
I know this is crazy, right? But he was. I used to look at Randy and think, that guy's special in the way he used to present himself, the way he used to dress. I've seen some styles that he used to drop that I was like, this guy he's got it going on, right? And we know he's a percussionist. He played keyboards, the guitar. He had style, and I'm sure he played other instruments as well. Yeah, and he was not in it, and so by him not being in it meant that certain things couldn't happen, But there was a lot of anyway. Back to the pros.
Yeah.
I liked Quincy, the guy that played Quincy. There was a warmth about that
Yeah.
character. So there were other people in there that I really liked, and I liked seeing Michael being creative, but they could have expanded more on that. They could have expanded more of his creativity. We saw how he's working through Beat It when he saw that documentary or news piece on gangs or whatever.
Mm.
So yeah, that was all cool, and I was, and I was just transfixed by the performance of Jafar as
Incredible.
Michael. I was just like looking at this kid, like man, you know. And one thing I have to say is that the performance was next level, on par. I think he deserves an Oscar for it,
Yeah.
on par with any any of the biopics I've seen, beyond his performance was beyond. Like the only other person that I thought was amazing was Denzel as Malcolm, right?
Welcome, yeah,
But Jafar, like it was spooky, you
yeah.
know. But it doesn't necessarily mean that he can go off and be an amazing actor. What it
No,
does mean,
no, it
what
doesn't.
it does, it doesn't mean that it meant that he knew his uncle and he dug deep and obviously the genes are there or
Yeah,
whatever. But it does mean that he has the foundations
yeah,
thing because that performance was phenomenal. I would like to see him outside of that
yeah,
to see what he's made of because as I said, he's got the foundation. He's got the building block to be awesome, but
yeah,
it doesn't mean that he will. He nailed Billie Jean at the Motown 25. I'm all over the place with this because I was just really excited by that, you know,
mm,
because that was a moment that stopped time
mm,
when that happened. And kids, there was a time that when there were few stations and there was not social media, and everybody got around the box to watch stuff.
yeah,
And if you saw that, you could not have seen it. And if you didn't see it, you lied that you saw it.
yeah, yeah,
Because to not have seen it would have been like you would have been people would have taken the Mickey out of you, taken the
yeah,
piss.
yeah,
Because yeah, but everybody, and that was a moment, I think, one of the greatest moments in music history where someone went from a star to a megastar.
yeah,
You could argue, like the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan show, or Elvis also, but to me, Michael's performance that done something no one had ever seen before, whether he got it from the streets or wherever he got it, but the way he executed that performance at Motown 25 was game changing. And
mm.
to see Jafar execute that was mind
Smashed it.
blowing as well. He smashed it.
Yeah,
I remember at the time when Michael did that, he was really upset. He went backstage and he was like everybody was in awe. And you see that a little bit. I'm glad they captured that in the movie.
mm,
He went backstage and he was upset that he didn't stay longer on his toes.
mm,
And I was upset for him when I heard that because
mm,
like, but in a way, right, when you look at it, no, it's like I kind of like the fact that he doesn't stay long on his toes, right?
mm.
It's like it was just like a little, it's like a
Split
tease,
second.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, but I get that. And, as performers, sometimes we wish that we can do things, and you say, "Oh, that was a whack performance," but your friends and people that come to see you go, "Hey, man, that was better than the show that you thought was great,"
mm,
right? So yeah, but yeah, so that the performance was on point. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stop because I want to hear what you thought.
um, yeah. For me, it was pure nostalgia.
Hmm.
And I figured out quickly that this wasn't going to be the movie that you know that I think most people were expecting. If we look at the scores on the Rotten Tomatoes, it's just the critics v the people are just two completely different worlds. The critics were expecting the dirt, the grit,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
controversy. The fans, they were expecting, I think what we got. The majority of people watching this movie are going to be super uber fans, and they're not interested in the dirt of Mike. They're interested in the magic of Mike. That's what they witnessed. The dirt and all the pain of all the controversy was painful for fans. We wanted to get
yeah,
past that as quickly as possible and get to what we knew this guy could do the best, which was music. You know,
mm,
it wasn't
mm,
something we were stewing on. It was something that the critics and that the tabloids used to love. That's where they made their money. But we got all our joy from seeing this man perform and wanted to be rid of all the controversy as quickly as possible, so we could get on and see what this man can do. And this movie delivered on that, I think. It delivered on the superhero, it delivered on the performer, it delivered on the talent, it delivered on the genius. And
mm,
that's what it was about. It was not about the controversy. And I know, we know what happened. Actually, in actual fact, they actually shot the movie with a completely different ending to the ending that we got in this movie. They
yeah,
actually shot into the controversy, more into the 90s, into the abuse claims. but they had to cut the entire ending off because they found out after recording that there was an actual agreement with the original, what would you say, with those guys who claimed, was his name, what was his name?
Jordan Chandler.
Him and his family agreed that that their names can never be used or their likeness can never be used in any biopic, concerning Michael Jackson. So for whatever reason, unfortunately, the directors and producers wasn't aware of that until they finished the movie. I don't know how that could
Mm.
have happened with lawyers and solicitors involved. That's a made like someone needs to get fired for that. That was a they had to spend money, to
Yeah,
re-record and and you feel that at the end it kind of ends in a weird way, like, oh, okay. It doesn't, it ends, but it doesn't feel like an ending. It's like to be continued, you know.
yeah. So
But
okay, so let me hit you. So what are the pros for you and the cons?
the
Because I kind
pros
of
for me
blabbered
was
on.
Jafar Jackson smashed the role. There's no one on this planet who was able
Mm,
to achieve what he achieved.
yeah,
There's no one on this planet who could have, you needed the DNA of Michael Jackson to play Michael Jackson. Clearly.
yeah,
There's not an
yeah,
actor. The same way that the Queen biopic was done. This couldn't have been, you couldn't have had some actor come in. It had to be
yeah,
the blood. It had to be the family. And
yeah,
luckily enough, someone was at the right age at the right time. And
yeah,
he's like, guys, I know you're going to be hearing about how incredible this guy is, as Michael Jackson. It's once you see it,
yeah,
it's mind-boggling. There's moments when you're looking at Michael Jackson on the screen.
yeah.
It's perfection,
Mm,
like you've never seen it. So that was a massive one for me. The hits, the music's incredible.
yeah,
It is a greatest hits movie where they go there,
yeah,
every 5 minutes there's another song playing. If not a Jackson movie, then something of the time or something they might pull a Jackson track to fit in a particular moment in the movie.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
that. We've got to bring up as the Purple Rinse. There's a moment in the movie where Michael Jackson is chilling and he's in a pool, and his brothers are like, "What you doing in the pool?" And he's
Yeah.
like, I'm here meditating to receive some new music, to receive some songs." And then he says a little while afterwards, "Man, if if he says
If I
something,
don't do it,
if God doesn't give me the songs, he might give it to Prince." Something along those lines, words to that
yeah,
effect. And any Prince
yeah,
fans are like, because everybody knows about the rival between Prince and I'm so happy of all the artists that they
yeah,
mentioned Prince.
They were already saying, is Prince the new Michael Jackson? The press was building up a rivalry. It was the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. You couldn't invent something better. It was just perfect.
yeah,
For me, it really warmed my heart and just like thank you guys for acknowledging, you know, that part of the Jackson story, the Prince v Jackson thing. And the truth is, guys, Prince and Jackson are actually very good friends.
Calls me one afternoon and says, I need you to be ready in 30 minutes. I'm coming to get you. I was like, where are we going? He said, we're going to go mess with Michael. And I thought, okay. So Michael at that time was held up at the Sony studios and he had the whole place booked out. Prince and I went there and we hung out with him all afternoon and just had fun, made fun of each other, laughed, hung out. It was a trip, but for the first time feeling so normal. I was like sitting between these two guys and, I got my dreads and, I'm unshaven and I'm probably a little funky, haven't changed my clothes, and Prince and Michael are pristine. I mean, the hair is done, the makeup is done. Every crease is in place. I'm sitting between these two being the ruffian, right? I was completely entertained, but it was a very fun afternoon. There's no video, there's no picture.
It's a
It was
memory.
just a memory. Yeah.
So
yeah,
let's not get twisted. They were not
yeah,
enemies. That was to
yeah,
sell papers. They actually respected each other. There was a healthy competition. And
yeah,
there's lots of talks from the Revolution about Prince seeing Michael on screen doing a performance or something live, and Prince being behind him like, "Go, Mike, go! Yeah, great, great stuff, Mike." I've heard the Revolution talk about that. Prince's adoration for this guy. So don't get it twisted. Don't buy into the divide and conquer. These guys actually
yeah,
really loved and respected
yeah,
each other. That's the
yeah,
truth.
yeah.
That's coming from the Revolution. But I love this film. It took me back to the 8-year-old child, in the early Jackson days.
Yeah, yeah,
I felt the magic that we experienced back in the
yeah,
day Guys,
Yeah.
any of you guys who are generation, I don't know, Y, Z, I feel for you guys, man. You didn't see what we saw. It was a
Yeah.
magical time.
Yeah.
We were naive and it served
Yeah.
us well.
Yeah.
Because we
Yeah.
believed
We were naive to the workings of the world.
we were naive, but
and
it worked.
Michael was the soundtrack.
He was he was
Michael Prince Madonna with the soundtrack.
there with a soundtrack, man. It was an incredible time. You believed in the majesty, the magic. You believed this man was from another planet. And, the movie really speaks to Michael's creativity and his plan for it to be that way. He wanted to be mysterious. He
Yeah.
didn't want to do interview. It was all part of the crafting this Michael Jackson, figure that we all love. Michael really did craft this character, and it was pure artistry. Even his nose, he got criticism about his nose. It was part of his striving for perfection in
Yeah.
every regard.
Yeah. I mean, striving for perfection. Yeah. I mean, that's in his head what
In
perfection
his
is,
head,
right?
in his head.
Right? Yeah. We don't. Yeah. But
You know,
listen.
the cons.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
You-
like the whole Michael had a skin disorder,
Mm,
vitiligo, yeah,
mm.
which was not really pushed at the time. We just saw a man kind of changing, yeah, in front of our eyes. And I
Mm.
always, there was always this thing in the press that he's trying to be white, or people were saying that he's trying to be white. But
No,
I never bought into that.
no.
I always thought that Michael was taking it to the next level, that
Yes.
he was just trying to be other. In the
Yes.
same way Bowie used to always change his image, but
Yes.
Michael took it to another level. He was physically doing it
Yeah.
rather than just hair and makeup. He
Mm.
was like, you know what? Like athletes do it all the time. They push their bodies to the extreme to achieve greatness, and he was kind of coming from that point of view, I think.
Yeah.
And it was a Scream video that kind of that he did with his sister
Mm.
that kind of put that thought into my head. I thought Michael's trying to just be different and other.
Mm.
Like he wants to, in his head, look amazing for film,
Yeah.
you know, right? Or whatever he conjured up, and he was trying to create an otherness. I want to be far from. I want to make myself so different from. There might be some other deep stuff going on there as well. I'm not denying that, but
Mm.
he was like trying to move away from the past, and really, he was a futurist. He was looking to the future, right?
Yeah, he
How
was.
I'm gonna do, and he's always trying to be the best and up anybody else.
Yeah.
And what more of a sacrifice than actually cutting up your body and
Man,
doing crazy stuff to it,
that's the
right?
commitment. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a next level commitment.
Yeah.
It comes at a cost, but he did it.
Yeah. I loved, let me just talking about the pros. I
Yeah, the
loved,
pros. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, the moments where they showed Michael, like, at the kind of, executive table, showing that he was a man in control and not just a musician, but a businessman. And he had power and commanded respect. In,
which
in
probably caused him problems. But
which
go
probably
on,
caused him problems. But
but
I
go on.
like that the movie gave a nod to
Yeah,
his business sense,
yeah,
and his power as an
mm,
individual, as a music mogul, as a musician. You know,
yeah.
the Jacksons were a powerhouse, and I'm leaking a little bit into the cons here. We
Yeah.
didn't really see that. We didn't see the Jackson
Oh,
variety show where every single Jackson was involved. All the
yeah,
brothers and the sisters, from Reby all the way down to the youngest, the entire family were involved in that variety show and showed their talent, their ability to dance, ability to sing. It was full on, and we didn't get to see that. We didn't get to see the Jackson cartoon. They made a cartoon that was successful. We didn't
yeah.
get to see the um the
Camaraderie
the
between the brothers.
camaraderie between the brothers.
It would have been great to see them working on choreography for different shows, and what was happening, the different characters were like.
Yeah,
And look, and I get it. It's not for really for us. It's for the fans, but it's also for. I think the film is for new Jackson fans.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's for people who weren't around during the time, And just like comics, this Spider-Man never dies,
Mm,
right? It's for the next generation. That's like,
mm,
we can't keep reading the same thing. This guy's been going from since the
mm,
whatever, and he's still around, right? So it's for the next generation, and
mm.
they keep yeah, they keep updating the same story basically.
Mm.
So Michael's repackaged again
Yeah,
for those that heard about him and are of age and like good music and y- you know and are open
yeah,
to whatever, and so you're not gonna get they just say here's this guy that you guys weren't around for, and
yeah,
this is what he did,
yeah,
and he was amazing,
yeah,
and the money making machine keeps going
yeah, yeah,
because it's a cash cow, right?
yeah.
And so they obviously sacrificed, like obviously some of the brothers were behind it, and they obviously thought, you know what, Michael is front and center.
Hmm.
This is what we're doing, and we're gonna sacrifice some stuff in order to push this narrative
Yeah,
of
yeah.
I mean, yeah, go on.
Paris Jackson had a few words to say about this movie. I get the impression that Randy and Janet probably felt the same. We can roll the clip quickly and you can see what she had to say.
The thing about these biopics is it's Hollywood. So it's fantasy land. It's not real.
I heard something that I didn't tell you that I heard.
What's that?
That that D that came with us to the cinema
Mm,
said to me, and I thought that's the reason. Okay, here goes. Jermaine is one of the main people behind it.
mm.
Jermaine is Jermaine's son that plays Michael.
Yeah.
Jermaine stole Randy's wife.
Oh,
Wife stroke girlfriend. I don't know if he was married to her.
oh,
So,
yes, I've heard that.
right? So Jafar is the son of said woman.
Hmm?
Jafar is Jermaine's son.
Whose brother used to, his brother
Who's
used to
who?
be involved with his
No, no.
sons.
Listen. Look, hold on. Jafar is Jermaine's son to the
Hmm.
woman that Randy used to go out with.
Yes. Yeah, okay, could be. So I can see how there could be some conflict.
Wait. Hold on. Let me finish it. I know for a fact. Well, I know for a fact, like I was in the house, right? But I know Janet, Michael, and Randy were tight,
Hmm.
and so it would follow that Janet was not in it because of her closeness to Randy,
Hmm.
who obviously is not in it because of Jermaine
Hmm.
and listen, bro, you and I are brothers. If I chirps your girl, we're friends, right?
Yeah.
If I chirps your girl as a mate, our relationship is over, right?
That'd be liberty, man. That's incest, man. There's a point where it crosses over into incest.
Right?
Virtual
Much
incest.
less family,
Family.
brothers.
Yeah.
That's even more. Me and you,
Yeah.
if I did that, that's much less brothers. So
Yeah.
no one could tell me that Randy's overs that, unless I don't know how many girlfriends ago she was or whatever, but it was Randy's woman,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
Jermaine took. So it kind of I thought, oh, I was saying to my mate, oh, that's it. That's the reason why they're not in it. Because I was thinking Janet wasn't in it because she is a big enough star, and maybe she felt she didn't want to be overshadowed in her brother's movie, right? And that it would have been like, I've got my own movie to tell, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I do. I was kind of thinking, but it kind of makes sense. I was like, her loyalty to Randy. She's like, nah, fire bun. That's kind of what I think. I don't know.
I see that. I see that. Yeah, it could definitely. It's a solid theory. Solid theory. I
Yeah.
see that. Yeah, yeah. But another thing I'd say, I wanted to speak
Mm.
to this a little bit early, is just the negativity surrounding this film. And there's been some backtracking by the critics on this. But the truth
Yeah,
is, in regards to Michael Jackson, the minute Michael Jackson started to break serious records, I'm
yeah,
talking Elvis, the Beatles, like the darlings of the
yeah.
music industry.
Music
But
industry.
as soon as he started to break their records, he
Yeah,
became Wacko Jacko. He
yeah.
became this
We
this
saw it. We
crazy
were there
guy,
for it. We were there for it. We
right?
saw
We
it
were
happen in
there,
front
right?
of us.
We
Yeah,
actually, myself and Dark Pop saw this. We were reading the tabloids and saw what was going on. It was on the news. They went for this guy, and those same individuals, I believe, are the same individuals who've put these so-called professional critics, you know, out there saying this movie's terrible, don't go and watch it. They've been doing this to Michael for decades. This is
yeah.
no different.
I
No
mean,
different.
I mean, like all the other biopics are kind of in the same ballpark. No
Yeah.
one's really pushed the boundaries in terms of biopics. It's the
No.
same goddamn thing. So
No.
why is this getting more heat than anything else,
The
right?
Jackson family.
In fact, I made sure I watched because I didn't watch the Bohemian Rhapsody till after the Michael Jackson one, right? That after seeing it, I thought, let me check it out, right? I love Queen,
Mm,
early Queen, that is. I didn't like 80s Queen, I thought, but
mm,
early Queen, 70s Queen, amazing. I was a big Freddie fan. I loved Freddie
mm.
Mercury, but I watched it and I couldn't get past the actor with the teeth. I
Peace.
just couldn't get past it. It
Yeah.
was just like this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And if you compare Michael's Mike Jafar's performance versus Malik, I think the guy's name, the
Mm,
actor that played
mm,
Freddie, it's just there's no comparison.
no.
He was
No.
good. He was good. I'm not saying he wasn't good, but you know, for me personally, I couldn't get. It was like too gimmicky with him with the
Yeah.
teeth thing. I couldn't get. It was just like I know Freddie had a lot of teeth in his mouth, right? And that was actually brought up in the actual
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah.
but I just couldn't get past it. It was just annoying me. It's like, oh, it looked funny, it looked weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
right.
did.
But I mean, and I mean, pound for pound, though, I would say possibly yes, it is. It flows better,
Mm,
the Bohemian Rhapsody, but I prefer the Michael film because the songs. It, there's no comparison to Michael, and we're Prince fans, right? There's no comparison. Michael is a solo frontman out in the front doing his thing.
mm,
That's just like whoa. With those songs that we grew up with, it's just like a game changer.
mm,
But one thing is not fair is that because they had to chop the movie
mm,
because of said problems,
mm.
the movie is a bit choppy. They jump around a lot,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Michael, I think Michael, a movie on Michael Jackson with this level of budget and production should have been a lot better
Yeah. Yeah. I think so.
in terms of flow of movies.
Yeah.
But it still works
Yeah.
as we said as a superhero villain piece with Joe Jackson being who's he, Brainiac or
He's got to
Darkseid?
be
Who's he?
Brainiac. He's got to be Brainiac.
Right. So in that respect, it works. You know, showing the origins of this character and overcoming the villain. That's it. That's all superhero movies. If that works, this also works.
Yeah, it's true. I can definitely see the superhero comparisons in this movie.
Was Joe Jackson a little bit too one-dimensional?
Okay, I've thought about this. We were talking about Joe Jackson. This is my conclusion. I got the Joe Jackson that I have heard about for the last 40 years. Period.
Yeah.
No, but the Joe Jackson I've heard about through the
Right.
press, by the
Right.
family, that's the guy I saw, and I
Yeah.
got no complaints with Joe Jackson. He was
But
always the monster, he was always the villain, beating up
yeah,
the kids, mastermind at the same time, but tactless.
hence the
Tactless.
Brainiac. Hence the
Hence
Brainiac,
the
right?
Brainiac. He's definitely the Brainiac. You know, he was the genius maniac uh, in this movie. And personally, that's the Joe Jackson I know. I saw the Joe Jackson that I've always known. I remember when Michael died, and there was there was an event of some sort, and Joe Jackson was there. This is a recording. I'll see if we can find this recording.
Do you know anything, Mr. Jackson, about funeral arrangements? Have you had time to?
Yeah, we haven't gotten to that yet. Yeah, but we're working on that.
Yeah.
This is Marsha here. I want you to
Thank you. How is you said your wife is? How? What about Janet and the rest of the family, the daughters and
They're
everything?
all doing fine. But I want to make this statement. This is a real good statement here. Marshall and I we own the record company called
Ranch Records.
Right.
Okay, it's distributed by Blu-ray Technology. And that's his next step.
And that's your next step.
Like, really, Joe Jackson? He seems
Okay.
completely detached.
Yeah.
Completely
Okay.
detached from his son's death, talking about the next business venture. I got the Joe Jackson on screen that I expected.
Yeah, I just thought it was maybe like they could have been a little bit more softer moments, which would have made the harder moments even more hard, right? I'm sure he wasn't villainous all the time. I'm sure there were times where
A
he was.
couple moments where they're playing and having fun as a family, like
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
really
okay.
chop. Like
Okay.
there's a couple where you see him smiling,
yeah.
and it's like okay,
but-
they showed
right.
a little bit of Joe on a good day.
Yeah.
There's a little sprinkling. It wasn't much. I think there's a
Yeah.
montage, and there's a moment when they're all laughing as a family, and he's
Yeah.
like kind of proud of his sons. There's a moment that I think he had to remain the villain. You know, you can't have
Yeah.
Darth Vader ssuddenly giving a child a kiss,
No,
giving
but
baby a
no,
kiss
but
in the middle of the movie. It's not gonna.
no, but I just Darth Vader, you know. Yeah, but hey, you know what was cracking me up when Michael was in the fridge, went to the fridge, yeah. You knew that Joe was gonna be behind that.
Oh, yeah.
when he turns around and Joe is there just
Yeah,
waiting.
yeah.
But yeah, like it seems like everybody was scared of Joe, man.
Well, that's I've always. That's what I've
Everybody
always-
was scared. Even the industry was scared of him.
Yeah.
Like he, what you want me to tell him? And the man
Yeah.
faxed him, boy. You're no longer manager.
Oh man, yeah, he was clearly
was
a
funny.
scary guy. You know, scary guy.
Yeah. So okay, all right. So what are we saying about this movie as regards to is it a good or bad movie?
This movie is definitely a thriller. This movie is bad. This movie is
Okay.
dangerous.
Oh,
You know,
ooh,
You know,
I like that.
you know, but it's not off the wall,
Is it Invincible?
and it's not invincible.
Right.
This movie could have done well with a lot more drama and a lot more inter-family play.
Yeah.
Finding out who they were as people, their dynamics as a family.
And where is Randy? I don't care what the politics are, what's going on there. Put Randy back in it. I know it's called Michael and not the Jacksons, but without the Jackson 5, the Jacksons, there would be no Michael.
There'll be no Michael.
And without Joe, there'll be no Michael.
There'll be no Michael without Joe. It has to
But
be
hear
said.
what? Fathers out there, don't be doing that to your kids.
Don't be beating up your children.
Because
Don't
don't
be
be beating up your children. I know you might want to create a Michael, but don't be beating up your kids.
No, it's not the
No,
way.
not in this day and age.
It's
but
not the way.
But and here's a strong argument because a lot of people say, "Oh, you're just a Jacksons fan." Look, Michael, after he left the Jacksons, and that was a cold move, and he actually says, "This is the final tour," and you can see everybody's trying to hold it down, and they're like, "Rotted."
So,
The man
Ed, tell
just-
me something.
Yeah.
Did that really happen?
Yeah, it's on. I will send you the clip.
And
We-
they
oh, we-
didn't know he was going to say that. So he kind of
No.
shut it. He kind of shut right there
Listen,
in life. He shut
listen.
it down.
Yeah, it's in real time.
I'd like to say this is our last and final tour. And I think this is our farewell tour. Y'all been wonderful. It's been a long 20 years, and we love you all.
It's kind of painful to watch because you know he means it. But anyway, this is what I was going to say. When Michael left the Jacksons, he recreated the Jacksons on stage with his dancers.
Yeah, he
It's-
did.
like he knew the power of having 5, 6 guys together in unison, doing stuff in unison. It was part of his thing. Anyway, after he left that, he carried on with his dancers. He just wanted the creative freedom to do whatever he
Yeah.
wanted. But and I get why I'm not saying that he shouldn't have gone solo. I'm just saying that the Jacksons were always there in what he did afterwards in his in the stage presentation. Well, anyway, directly afterwards he carried it on, and yeah, and it's I suppose there's a lot of behind the scenes politics having siblings and well we saw it in the film anyway, but yeah, but yeah, I know it's called Michael and hence why, but they should have done them better than they did. But go on.
I got a question. Did
Yeah.
you learn anything about Michael Jackson that you didn't know from this movie?
No.
I learned one thing. Only piece of insight I got about Michael Jackson. I didn't realize that the burns on his head were that severe.
Yeah, I knew
I
that.
remember when it happened. I remember watching the television. I was watching the news when it happened,
Right.
But I didn't know that it
Yeah.
was that bad. I didn't know he had to wear a hairpiece for the rest of his
Yeah.
life. It
Yeah,
destroyed
yeah.
the follicles. Like he had a bald patch.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that bad.
Yeah,
Third
it was.
degree burns.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew
He was
yeah.
he was bald.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a patch, and
Yeah.
would wear wigs, and the crazy wigs we saw. It kind of
Yeah.
makes sense now. I didn't. I just thought there was a little burn on his head. I didn't
No, no,
realize
no,
it was
no,
that
no, no.
severe.
I mean, listen, that man had petrol on his hair with that Jericho stuff, right? That stuff lit up like,
Yeah.
of course, and
Yeah.
probably stuck on his. Oh man, that's hard. I couldn't. That scene was really painful to watch, actually. That was really.
I've seen the. Have you seen the original scene?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have.
the original scene is there where Michael actually kind of, and it's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
heavy.
But you see how much of a trooper Michael is. He
Still
he
willing to go.
realized at that point, even in pain, when he was being, wheeled out on the stretcher, my man still had the glove on and
Yeah.
waving to the fans.
Waving to the crowd.
And I was like,
And I remember that. I remember that. That's
Yeah.
actually taken from. That actually happened. I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And also, when he was recovering, walking around the hospital, he still had his glove on.
To wear his glove.
I was like, "Go on, Michael. Go on, Michael." Michael was still doing his thing, man. I was like, "Yeah, all right, Mike. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah." Okay, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Here's a big question for you. If they did a biopic exactly like this, but it was about Prince, would you be happy with it?
No. No.
I agree.
No.
If they took the shortcuts and
No.
get
No,
you,
I won't
right?
want to see that. No. No.
Yeah.
I would.
Even if wait, hold on, let me finish. Even though the guy they got to play Prince was phenomenal and killed it, and so basically what I'm saying is the same way how Jafar kills it, this guy that they got to play Prince kills it, but it was done with the same sort of
Hop, skip, and jump through the story.
yeah.
It
Would you
would,
be happy?
it would work for the Purple Rain fans, but it wouldn't work for the likes of me and you.
Yeah.
It would work for the Purple Rain fans.
Yeah.
The rise of Prince, and the state's probably going to do the same thing. They're probably thinking,
Oh God, no.
yeah, we got
Oh,
something.
God.
We got something we could produce.
Hey, so why is it okay? Why are we liking this film and saying it's okay because it's Michael, but we wouldn't be happy if it was Prince?
I would just like to think that I think there was a missed opportunity. I understand it was made by the family, so they're going to be protecting their own. I get it. But I would have preferred an outsider to give us a juicier story, more interplay, more family
But that's
interplay.
not why I asked you. I said, why would we be okay? Why are we okay with the movie? Because we're okay. We both think it's good, right?
Yeah,
We enjoyed it. It was a
Yeah.
feel-good movie.
yeah.
Why, if an equivalent film about Prince was done like that, we would not be happy.
No, because there'd be,
So why? So why? That's the question I'm
I
asking
think,
you.
okay, let me say this. Last night when we spoke about this, I did say to you, I could easily have an opposite view of this film and slate it.
Yeah,
I
you
could
did.
easily, I could decide right now. This
In
is
terms
the
of
worst
filmmaking, right?
in terms of filmmaking. This was
And
rubbish.
story.
We didn't learn anything. We
Yeah.
didn't see anything. They glossed over Michael. They made Michael just a pretty boy. He didn't do anything wrong. He made no
Yeah.
mistakes. You
Yeah.
know, it was
Yeah, just looking after
superficial,
kids and
right?
concerned about kids. Yeah, of
Right
course.
there was, it was an empty kind of, the best thing about the movie was the actor and the songs. Everything
Yeah.
else we all know. We learnt
Mm.
nothing special. It was just greatest hits of Michael with some video play. I could easily have that perspective, right? But that
Mm.
wasn't. They wasn't trying to make, they wasn't trying to make a high drama, high concept movie. It was meant to be
Yeah.
exactly what we saw. I've simply
Yeah.
chosen to
Yeah. Yeah.
embrace
Yeah.
the objective and
Yes.
say, okay,
Yeah. I
you
agree.
you met the objective and they made it well.
Yeah.
I would like to see the reason I would reject a Prince movie like this is because after seeing Jackson, I'd like to think we'd get something more meatier from Prince. This
Yeah.
state will never ever make the movie I'd like to see. If they wasn't willing to put that documentary out that was made, they wouldn't be willing to make the Prince film I'd like to see.
Yeah, true. Point.
But I
Yeah.
like to see Prince putting his hand on people and all the stuff that we've heard about, and thumping men and being an asshole. I want to know more about that. We know about the genius. Everybody knows the genius, okay?
Yeah.
I'd like to see more of the man behind the closed doors. That's
Yeah.
personally, we'd never get that though.
Yeah.
He's dead and the estate have to keep the money rolling, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Generations. So they're going to ruin their only asset. They're not gonna tar and feather their own asset.
Yeah.
They're gonna make him gleam. They want to buy some more fans for their grandchildren when their grandchildren inherit the estate. So
Okay.
that's my angle. That's my rather large nutshell
Okay.
on that.
So we enjoyed it. It was a feel
I
good
enjoyed it.
movie.
I enjoyed it. I
Um,
decided to enjoy it. I
I saw it
decided,
twice,
yeah.
partly because I knew we were going to do a review, and I want the second time I saw it was not at the IMAX, and so it wasn't as powerful,
Hmm.
but I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it again watching it with you guys.
Hmm.
Um, we always have this debate about Prince and Michael, with other friends, extended family.
Hmm.
Um, does this change? Does the movie change where you place Michael in terms of GOAT status?
No,
In,
this
in terms
movie's
of in terms of how you it has it changed the rankings? Because
no.
we
It
we
just
know our rankings.
no. It doesn't. This movie reminded me of the GOAT status. It
Uh,
reminded me, oh yeah, this guy was yeah. I've not really listened to much Michael over the last few years. I don't
yeah,
listen to him the same I listen to Prince or other artists. I love Mike, but I
yeah,
played Mike to death.
yeah, yeah,
But this movie made me want to listen to his albums, listen to the Jacksons, the Jackson 5. It made me
yeah.
want to go back. This morning, the first thing I played was Jackson. I was making coffee to Michael Jackson.
Brilliant,
It's
brilliant.
reminded me of his greatness.
Yeah,
It's almost like, yeah, I forgot, and
yeah, yeah. So are you saying that he's replaced Prince as the greatest of all time then?
no, 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 no. Let's
Yeah.
not get it twisted now, brother. Now let's not get it twisted now, brother. There can be
But
only one.
you know what, though, it's a tough one. I mean, like we know we say Prince is a goat because of all the things he can do, and all the from recording to playing instruments to obviously performance. There's so much to that guy's skill level, right? But listen, Michael is a force of nature, man. When you see that guy perform, he's got an attack on the mic and a attitude on the mic that is real rock to me. You know what I mean? It's really aggressive. He's got an aggressive attack. I don't, and and something that I really love to see. I think putting down all the instruments and stuff, pound for pound, when Michael's attacking that microphone, I don't think anybody does it better. You know what I mean? Like there's just a ferocity, that an energy and a vibe that when I see Michael going at it, he's just like, yeah. I'm just saying, to me, there's a as a front man, pound for pound, Michael, man. Michael's the one, you know.
I personally would,
Taking away instruments. I mean, listen. This is another debate for another time,
yeah,
right? Because we're gonna do that at some point.
yeah,
But
we're gonna have to.
yeah, we enjoyed the movie. We enjoyed the movie. We enjoyed the movie.
Enjoyed the
But
movie.
it comes with a lot of buts, right?
Yeah,
Here's the thing. Here's another thing that I'm gonna throw up. Michael touched everybody that saw it at the time. As I said before, there was not much in terms of there's no social media.
mm,
Everybody kind of was tuned in at the same time, more or less, depending on what part of the world you were at.
mm,
But this is a thought I had the other day. All those people who were kids growing up during the Jackson era in the 80s, who were rappers, punk rockers, rock stars, all of those cats, I don't care how hardcore with their cool image now and anti-establishment image, those guys, let me use this finger, those guys and those girls, no matter that, were trying at some point to flipping moonwalk in the mirror. I don't care what you tell me.
yeah,
And that goes right across the board. I don't care who you are as an artist, right? If you grew up in the 80s and you eventually became a superstar or a rock star, you were trying to moonwalk or you were dancing to Michael.
yeah,
And not many artists could have done that.
mm.
Right?
Yeah, but
And I know that, and there are people that I've been watching that said, oh yeah, Michael, they liked Michael when they were younger. And it's almost like a past tense. I used to like him and I'm this. So the point I'm making is that your ass was in the mirror, dancing like everybody else, trying to do a moonwalk or trying to imitate Michael in some shape or form, or wearing one glove.
yeah, yeah. If you
Right?
was-
That's how powerful that
yeah.
cat was. Right?
If you're of a particular generation, that's just the way it was.
I heard someone say somewhere, or like the scene in when he's with the gang members, right?
Mm,
Which is another thing that was a distortion because Michael Peters was the choreographer on that
mm,
video shoot, and he wasn't represented at all. I haven't heard anybody mention him. He was the choreographer for the Beat It video, and he's actually in the video as well, dancing as one of the gang members. So I believe that Michael could have gone anywhere, and people would have treated him like royalty. So he could have been amongst gangsters and bad boys or whoever, and people would have been like showed utmost respect. He was that famous, that kind of famous that people would have protected him. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
And
He had that kind of street cred.
yeah. He would have been fine.
Mm,
Yeah, he would. They would have been fans. They would have. They would have. I believe they would have dropped their guard and be like, So that seems believable to me,
mm, mm.
whether it happened or not. I mean, because at the time they did say it was actual gang members that he used. Some of the people. No, obviously there were dancers in the front, maybe, but I think there were extras that were actual gang members. That's what I heard. I mean, you never know with the entertainment industry. They put up all kinds of stories to sell stuff. So
It's true.
I wasn't there, so I can't say for certain, but that's what we were being told at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, that was an interesting scene.
Yeah.
I wasn't convinced that a bunch of gang members were the guys dancing in that fruity video. That's the fruitiest video Michael Jackson ever done. Come on, straight up, right? And I couldn't believe that those guys prancing around like that were hardcore Crips and
No,
Blood.
but that's what I'm saying. There were dancers there, but the key dancers were actual dancers, but there were actual
Gangsters
the extras. Yeah, the extras that you're not focusing on were,
were the gangsters,
I
yeah.
mean, listen, it's a great story either way, right? It would make sense to make that happen than not, right? For the story.
So yeah, so ultimately, out of 10, what you giving this movie?
You know what? I'm gonna go on the vibe how it made me feel. 8.
8 out of 10. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Last night I said 9 out of 10 when we
Yeah,
walked out the cinema. Having
yeah,
had some time to reflect and ponder a bit more and consider,
yeah,
what was missing,
yeah,
what we got, and on
yeah,
balance, I would
yeah.
also give it an 8.
Yes.
An
Yeah,
8 is a
eight,
solid 8.
a solid 8.
Solid 8.
Yes, there's lots of stuff that's missing that I would love to have seen in there, like more detail, more behind the scenes stuff, trying to find out about the man. But I knew actually I went in with low expectations, got something better, enjoyed it. I'd never go see films more than once, really, and I went back a second time and enjoyed it again, and um, purely on that Jafar's performance, man. I have to give it an 8.
Yeah,
It's the best performance I've seen, like, of someone impersonating someone else.
yeah. I'd give his performance 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Jafar's
That.
performance is
Yeah.
10 out of
That.
10.
That's like the Billie Jean performance.
Oh, it's incredible.
That's like when we saw Michael do the Billie Jean performance. That is
Yeah.
flawed. It's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
His performance is a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Seriously, I don't care what
Yeah.
anybody says. No, like that film could not have worked without that guy.
Yeah, yeah,
No one, as you said, no one else could have done it.
yeah. I'm gonna say
Flawless.
something. This is the Purple Rinse, and there's got to be some kind of controversy. I'm gonna throw this one in the side just to kind of jar you all up. You know something? You know Billie Jean? That's one of my least favorite Michael Jackson songs.
Really,
I never put it on a mixtape. I don't know. I don't understand the excitement over that song.
really.
Yeah, let me just to shock you all. I don't get Billie Jean at all.
What?
I don't get it.
No.
I never got it that then as a kid, and I
Yeah.
still don't get it now. I don't get Billie Jean. I don't think it's that great a song.
What? You don't like Billie Jean? Are you mad? You want to be starting something? You want to be starting something, brother?
I've got to be starting something, man.
You want to be starting something,
I've got to be starting
brother?
something.
You want to be?
Yeah.
Wait.
I know. I could be strung up by the entire Jackson fan
Wait.
base. They're probably going to be looking for me now. So yeah. So that's thank you all for being with us here while we cover
Our first ever movie review.
first movie review. There'll be many more to come. There'll be many more. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, really? Are we gonna do many more, or we?
As if we get moved, maybe one day we'll
Yeah.
even review, Purple Rain,
Yeah.
and some of Prince's movies.
Yeah,
in the future. We'll see.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
But yeah, first ever movie review, and
First movie.
and it was not a Prince movie review. It was
No,
Michael.
no, Michael had
How,
irony.
how, the irony is thick. Yo, so Mr. Wonderful, what did the people just get?
You just got your Purple Rinse.